Hello there. My name is Matt Green. I'm the co-founder of Juris Digital. We are a digital marketing agency who specializes in helping law firms reach their growth goals. So specifically, law firms come to us when they realize that their growth has stalled and what has gotten them to where they are isn't going to take them to the next level. We offer elevated digital marketing services that help them break through that plateau.
So our clients are understandably concerned about how generative AI tools are shifting the landscape of search marketing and of digital marketing, what they need to do to stay ahead of that curve, to make sure that they're kind of future-proofing their marketing efforts in order to be visible regardless of where people are searching, right? I mean, at the advent of the internet and search engines, it was pretty easy to just say, everybody's using Yahoo, everybody's using Google, that's where we want to be. It's more complex nowadays. There's social media platforms that people use to conduct searches. And of course, now there's generative AI where people are searching about their legal issue. They're getting curated sort of dynamic responses based on their inputs. They're having conversations that are leading them in certain directions. And so the question is, what does your law firm need to do to kind of stay ahead of this trend and to future-proof your marketing efforts? My advice, as somebody who's been doing this for about 15 years now, is that it's important to recognize the trend. It's also important to recognize that if you have engaged in a holistic approach to marketing, you're going to be best served, because while the tools we use change, human nature doesn't really. People still ask the same questions. They might do it in a different way. They might use a different platform, but at the end of the day, they have the same problems and they're asking the same questions. And if you have invested in a website and a digital presence that addresses those questions, that positions you as the obvious choice to help someone, that fully covers a wide breadth of authority in your area of expertise. In other words, if you've done all the things that you need to do to be successful at what we would think of now as traditional organic search marketing, being found in Google, being found in Bing, all of these things, you're going to be well suited to also be visible in ChatGPT and Gemini and Perplexity and all these different generative AI tools. The answer to what do I do, first and foremost, have you done a good job with organic search marketing such that you kind of qualify to show up in these generative AI models? So you should get a benchmark of where you are there. Am I coming up? Am I getting traffic from ChatGPT? Are those turning into leads? So that benchmark is really important. It's also important to understand that from what I've seen, sites that perform well in Google are performing well in ChatGPT. Another really important thing to understand is that AI will siphon traffic from your site, no question. We're seeing this with multiple clients where the AI overviews have essentially taken over for a lot of the, especially like informational queries that send traffic to our client site. So I'll give you an example. We have a business litigation law firm in Texas. One of the queries they rank for is, can an employer sue an employee? So in cases of, a breached non-compete agreement or a breach non-disclosure or theft of trade secrets, employers will search, can I sue my employee, basically. We've seen over the last year, basically since Google really started launching their AI overviews and search results, we've seen a drastic decrease in traffic to that specific post. Interestingly, we haven't seen a decrease in leads generated from that post, which tells me that when folks are serious about taking action on their problem, they're still looking for a lawyer to contact. And so the difference in this case might be, instead of searching, can an employer sue an employee, clicking on my client's site, reading through that information, and then calling them or filling out a form, what that might look like now is they read the AI overview, which samples heavily from my client's site. Then they click into the sources and they see my client listed there. And then they click to their site and then they contact them. If they were a person who was never going to contact the law firm to begin with, they're not that serious about the issue, or they're just researching, or they're a journalist, or they're a student, or whatever, that was always kind of vanity traffic, right? Yes, we were getting that traffic, but it was never going to produce what ultimately we want, which is contacting the firm with a viable legal matter. So it's important to keep that perspective as well, of just because we're losing traffic, let's not panic. Let's look at the bottom line conversion data. our leads, our signed up cases. And if that isn't being impacted, then what we can basically deduce is a lot of that traffic that AI is siphoning off was actually vanity traffic that wasn't bringing us leads anyways.